Welcome back to the couch, everybody. Welcome back to our weekly NBA episode. Today, Max and I are going to be picking our 5 favorite League Pass teams that we just have really enjoyed throughout the first 2 weeks of the NBA season, just bouncing around on League Pass. Oh, this team's on, I got to watch them, that type of thing. And then also we're going to talk about some teams that maybe used to be on that list for us, but are no longer on that list for us. Also, by the way, we are starting to post these podcasts on YouTube, so please check those out for our YouTube watchers. I got some sun in my eyes. If I move back just a little bit, so I'll be hunched forward a little bit this podcast. Max, how are we doing today?
Pretty good. Also check the link in the description to find our YouTube as well as our TikTok pages. Our TikToks, I created my own TikTok account. Jordan created a separate one. They're both associated with the couch, and they've been going off, honestly, which has been really cool. So if you want to see like short form content of us, for me, I break down players more. Jordan breaks down different things that's happening around the NBA, like team stuff and player stuff. If you want short form content of us, please check out the link in the description where you can find our TikToks, find that info. And then, yeah, like Jordan said, we got new YouTube videos coming out every week. So we're starting to make the moves that we've promised a lot and never fulfilled. Now we're actually promising it. And we've had some brands reaching out for some deals. So you're going to see some cool stuff happening. We had one. We
had our first one, which was cool. And we're using our iPhone cameras now, so it should be a lot better quality. For the YouTube, and
it's like a whole new podcast. Also, after this, I didn't mention it, but Jordan and I are going to be recording a new trailer for Spotify. I don't think he knows that yet, but
I didn't know that.
Yeah, we got a new. I had this idea in the shower that I just am now remembering. So we're gonna be doing that.
Ideas are always the best. So
they're the best ideas. So yes, so caveat: this is the League Pass rankings. This is pretty much stolen from Zach Lowe and Bill Simmons. If you don't know about League Pass, that's it's the package you can buy with the NBA app where you can watch every single team, except for your market team. So Jordan and I are in the Boston market, so we can't watch the Celtics on League Pass. They're on cable, so they actually don't count for the League Pass teams. Also, they're our favorite team, so we're watching every game anyways. So I took them out of the rankings. But League Pass just allows you to watch every single team play, and if you're diehards like us, you basically camp League Pass for the next 82 games, however many months that is. You're just on League Pass every day. So we wanted to rank our favorite teams to watch and that we've been watching, and then talk about some teams that have fallen out of favor with us or that we have been watching less. Maybe we thought we were going to watch them more going into the season, and it just hasn't been that case. So Jordan, why don't you go ahead and give us your first League Pass team?
Yes. So my favorite team to watch on League Pass this year, I don't think you're going to agree with this one. I have really enjoyed and been entertained by the Houston Rockets.
That's mine. That's my number one.
No way.
Yes,
okay.
that's my number one.
I thought you wouldn't like them.
No.
I think when you're looking at you're looking through League Pass and you're looking through the games and you see that Rockets logo, you're like, oh, I have no idea what's going to happen tonight with this team. I don't even know who's going to play for most of the game. Like, I have to watch this and just see what happens. They have so many explosive athletes. Obviously, Jalen Green, Amen Thompson, Şengün is not an explosive athlete, but a very fun player to watch when he's going. He dominated Karl Anthony Towns the other night. That was fun to watch. Tari Eason's been fun. Cam Whitmore hasn't even been able to get out on the court that much, but when he's in, it's fun. They just have all these young guys who are trying to figure themselves out and trying to fit together with all this young talent. And it can be a mess sometimes. It can be horrible shot selection, but it is great entertainment. It's very fun. And the one thing I will say is, no matter how bad I think the offense can be sometimes, and just how ugly maybe the ball movement is, and some of these shot selections with Jalen Green, Dylan Brooks even, but they play their asses off every night. They work so hard, and they are great on defense, both talent-wise and effort-wise and hustle-wise. So they are just a fun team to watch.
So when I was doing this, I was like, what goes into a good League Pass team? And I figured this was a good conversation for us to have on the pod. So I wrote down a quick little list of what I think goes into a good League Pass team, and let me know if you have any additions or things that you disagree with. But I said the first thing is that they're not good enough to close games. So there's always a close game. It's always close, which is
there's no blowouts. This team is always in a close game. Love it.
Exactly. Yeah. Always in a close game. They have good young players because the young players play way harder because they're trying to make it in the league, and they don't really have as many opportunities as the older guys. They're not as, they they haven't gotten paid yet, so they're still really hungry. I think that makes it good because those guys are really like always playing their hardest. A team with athleticism is always fun for the big dunks, the crazy plays that blow your mind. I think depth is really fun because again, it's about when there's depth, like you're fighting for every minute. So those guys are playing as hard as possible. And then when you're on League Pass, the cool thing is you don't see commercials. You just stay in the court. So I think a big thing for me is one, the way that the court looks, and then two, what goes on in between like the little segments. And I must say that Houston has the weirdest shit going on when they leave. Like the people that come out and are like trying to pump up the crowd are really energizing and fun to watch. And then the crowd is really fun to look at. There's a lot of just craziness going on in Houston. I love it. And then finally, the announcers. I really like Ryan Hollins and the other guy that he announces with. I think they're really solid, and I thoroughly enjoy watching Houston Rockets games. They're my number one League Pass team as well. Do you agree with that
Yeah,
list?
the only thing I didn't agree with was I'm not sure if I'm the biggest Ryan Hollins fan.
Really?
I might have I forget who it is. I have certain announcers that I really like. I love the Pels team. I
Yeah,
love
that
the
guy's
Hawks
gravelly
team.
voice.
Yeah, the play-by-play guys for the Hawks and the Pels just have the greatest voices, and it's
Yeah,
like an underrated thing that I wouldn't think would matter to me, but actually has recently. Um, but yeah, I
I
said
don't
everything I had to say about them. They're so fun.
I don't love Clyde for the Knicks. He's starting to grow
No,
on me.
the old guys are brutal.
Yeah.
You need
Who
young, you
else?
need energy. Like,
Charlotte Eric Collins is the best. He's
oh,
the number one
obviously,
best.
yeah, 100%.
That goes without saying. I'm trying to think of some guys that I don't. I'll be. This is gonna stick out to me once I watch it after doing this because I always think about it and then forget to write it down. Like the
Yeah,
teams
like
that
which
annoy me.
announcers you like? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the Kings either have someone I don't like or do like. I can't remember, but that's not helpful. Okay. So since you picked the Rockets, I'm gonna go with my other team, which is the Cavaliers. That's hard to say. Um, undefeated so far. I think watching Mobley and watching Garland take that leap is what has been exciting me the most. I used to really not enjoy watching Cleveland. That's completely flipped. I love their prolific scoring with their defense as well, and I like watching them because they're on this win streak. They're really trying to win every single game now. Not that they wouldn't be if they weren't on a streak, but I think because you're on that streak, you really want to protect it. And I love watching how Cleveland plays every night. They're fast paced. They have a lot of energy, and watching Mobley figure his things out with Garland figuring his stuff out, and Mitchell just is an athletic freak and makes a lot of awesome shots. I love watching Cleveland play right now.
It is so strange. I think a lot of us thought that things had kind of run its course with this team and that these skill sets were kind of worn out and redundant and like we knew what this team was. And then they come into this year, they start 8-0. Evan Mobley looks like a completely changed man. Darius Garland as well, like you said, has made a nice leap and had a great start to the season. And it just looks like they're fitting together a lot better. Jared Allen obviously missed a lot of last season. He's been great. He's been fun to watch. And I think he and Mobley have figured out their fit together a lot better offensively, because of the usage that we've seen from Mobley as a ball handler. So yeah, they were on my list as well. Super fun to watch, and kind of checks all the boxes that you said. In terms of league pass stuff, like young players, play hard, good defense, depth. Just yeah, a fun team.
Yeah. What's your next one?
My next one is the Charlotte Hornets, and it's similar to the Rockets in that they are a mess a lot of the time. They're far more messy than the Rockets even, I would say. They are just a straight up bad team. But we do have money invested in their future, over 30 and a half games, so I'm rooting for that. And above all else, LaMelo has just been my single favorite player to watch this year. The shots that he takes are just absurd. He looks like he's playing in a pickup game in NBA games. Like he's just out there having fun, chucking up crazy shots, and when they go in, it is so fun. He has this weird like little set shot. It doesn't even look like a jump shot. And he makes like these one-legged follow-away threes. And that game he had against the Celtics, the first time they played the Celtics, when he went for like 32, he made some of the craziest shots, and the crowd goes crazy. They love him. It's just like a completely out of control fun team.
Charlotte's been pissing me off this year. I'm not gonna lie to you. I like I think I'm kind of an I would say like I'm more of an old school type guy. Like I LaMelo pisses me off. I'm not gonna lie. When he does stuff that works, it's exciting and fun, but I don't love the way he plays the game. Like I want him to be more mature and take better shots and start actually caring. It just looks like when he's on the floor, he doesn't care. And it drives me nuts because I thought Charlotte was going to be a lot better than what they've been. I thought they were going to be more professional and they're just fucking around. They really don't care. Which drives me nuts sometimes because it's like you guys got to start developing and taking a leap here and they just play like they don't give a shit. And when they're bad, they are ugly when they are in a
Oh
rough
yeah.
spot. It's ugly, and I don't like watching that. They're one that's kind of they haven't fully dropped out because I'm invested, but they're one of those that's like close to dropping out for me.
Okay, counter. I think they, as a team, are obviously a mess, like we said. They have a lot of individual players that are really fun to watch. If you don't like LaMelo, then you're not gonna like this team. But like I love LaMelo, so I love this team. But I also love watching Trey Mann and the ascension that he's had.
I like
How fun
watching
has that
Miller.
been?
I like watching that
Brandon
dunk
Miller,
last
one
night
of the
against
most
Minnesota.
fun, yeah, one of the most fun and young and exciting players in the league right now. He's dunking on people. He hasn't really found his shot yet. He's only played, I think, 2 games. When he gets going, like they're gonna be fun to watch. Nick Richards has been fun to watch. Nick Richards works his ass off on the boards, and blocking shots. And like Josh Green is a fun player. I think I've liked watching even Seth Curry a little bit have a resurgence. So yeah, the Charlotte Hornets have just a little special place in my heart, maybe.
Understandable. Um, my next team is my I have two favorite players in the NBA. And it's Tatum and it's KD and Kevin Durant. Watching him with a point guard and watching him and Booker just go off. I'm taking the Suns, man. I thought this Suns team, I thought they were going to be in hell after that Bradley Beal trade, and they have figured it out. James Jones has done a master class in building a team on the fly with very limited funds. It's really impressive what he's been able to build. I don't know how he got Tyus Jones on the team, but he did, and it's completely elevated the offensive game of the Suns. And Budenholzer is an amazing offensive coach, as we've seen before. And he is elevating this team as a whole. Watching Kevin Durant have one of his better seasons and Devin Booker as well having one of his better seasons is just really fun for me. And then they have a really good and fun young rookie in Ryan Dunn. I also think the time slot that they're on is really helpful. They come on super late. So when I find myself watching a ton of first half Suns basketball and then falling asleep at halftime and then waking up and having to watch the second half again. But I love this watching this Suns team. I think I just love watching Kevin Durant and Devin Booker. I love their shot diet and the way they make shots, and I just really enjoy watching that team.
Shot diet. I like that. I like that terminology. We're getting.
I got
Yeah.
it. I got it as from a hate comment on a or a Devin Booker TikTok I made that I deleted, so I use it
Nice.
now.
Yeah, Katie, I watched the Suns Sixers game this morning and because I missed it when it happened, and KD put on an absolute show. Just carried them
He's my
to
favorite player to
a
watch
win.
go off.
When he
Like
goes off, yeah, it is so fun to watch. Just making tough step backs, tough finishes, contested threes. Obviously, I mean, we know who Kevin Durant is. But yeah, for me, Tyus Jones has turned this team around.
mhm.
When Tyus Jones is on the court versus when Tyus Jones isn't on the court, there is a noticeable drop in ball movement and connectivity and like overall offensive energy because they just turn to like one-on-one scoring when he's out of the game. It almost makes me like think that they need like a backup point guard, but I know that's too much to ask for because they just got their first real point guard, so they're probably just gonna ride it out with this squad right now. Ryan Dunn's been great, super fun to watch, and like not just fun to watch, but a really cool story because he went from a nothing, maybe a negative on offense coming in to now absolutely a positive. Been able to completely transform his jump shot and knock down shots, so they're a real contender to me. You?
Absolutely. He went from airballing free throws. There's a
Yeah.
compilation of him airballing free throws to him shooting the ball well. I made a video about him a while ago, and since then he's kind of like regressed a little bit, but he's still shooting a lot better than even was even projected for him. And absolutely, this team is a contender. I think we didn't talk about Booker enough at all. The way that Booker plays is so similar. Like he obviously played like this before Kevin Durant got there, but just I love that style. Like I love the tough dribble moves into the mid range jumpers and pull ups and
Yeah.
things like that. Like the really pretty shots that I think are the most impressive shots in the game. Bill Simmons has an argument where Karl Anthony Towns said he is the greatest shooting big man of all time. And Bill Simmons' argument is that Karl Anthony Towns takes a lot of um, catch and shoot jumpers or pull up jump, not pull up or dribble jumpers, whereas Kevin Durant, who's also considered a big man, takes a lot of really hard contested mid-range jumpers, and that's why he is one of the better shooter big men in the NBA or in history, because what he has to do to get the shot off and use his length to get the shot off is super impressive. I 100% agree with that argument. Watching Kevin Durant and Devin Booker just use their physical tools to get the shots off it's mesmerizing to me.
Yeah. Brad Beal, by the way, not bad so far.
When he plays.
Yeah, true. Fair enough.
So I mean, I don't have
Nurkic,
any hope for
Nurkic,
him.
not good.
Nurkic
Bad.
stinks. But
Plumlee good.
I like the Plumlee minutes. Like I seriously
Yeah,
do. So
I do
I don't
too.
know. And Nurkic
Plumlee's
is
a
fun.
good backup, and it's like when he comes in for Nurkic, sometimes you're like, is he better? Should he start? And like, I don't think Plumlee's a good enough player to be your starting center, but I do like his minutes. Unfortunate that Nurkic is the starting center for this team because he really can't guard anyone, and he kind of screws up the spacing sometimes. But good
Absolutely.
rebounder.
But he also like gets into scrums a lot, which is fun.
Yes, fair.
Okay.
All right. My next team, I have the T-Wolves.
Me
I
too.
I really, really have enjoyed watching the Timberwolves. I've been obviously fascinated by them trying to fit in Julius Randle, and I've been impressed by how well it's been working. He's been super efficient, super unselfish. He hasn't been as ball stopper-y as I thought he would be. And obviously Anthony Edwards is, probably the most exciting single player to watch right now. So the Timberwolves are just they're when they're in close games, that's must see TV all the time.
Absolutely. And Anthony Edwards is is like third favorite player in the NBA. It's hard giving out your favorite players because it's like I love all. It's just guys that I all love like evenly, and then the rest. And it's like for me,
So
it's
if Ant was going off and KD was going off, who gets the full screen? You're giving it to KD.
it
I'm
depends
giving
on
it
who
to
they're.
Ant because it's so new.
Yeah, I
You
think I'm
know?
giving it to Ant, but it depends on who they're going off against. I think
That's fair. Yeah, fair enough.
like if it's like KD's going off against OKC and Ant's going off against the Celtics or something, I get no, that's a bad example. Against Cleveland, because the Celtics are automatically getting the TV. If it's like
Yeah.
Ant against Cleveland and KD against OKC, I would actually be broken. I wouldn't know what to do. It would destroy me. Um, but I completely agree. Like Ant is there's not enough good things to say about him. He's charismatic, he's funny, he works his ass off, he is so fun to watch play the game. Um, Gobert is good for either just making fun of while watching or getting into fights, which are always interesting, or getting dunked on, which is great. Um, Julius Randle is hard to watch, but like I
He's
don't
been
know.
efficient though. He's made his shots.
He's efficiently hard to watch, which is good. I love watching Nikhil Alexander Walker play the game. I love watching him play. I love Conley. Um, Jaden McDaniels, who is a guy that we're super high on, has had an awful season this season offensively. And I like watching him as a defender, but I wish he could make some shots. But Minnesota, that crowd is always pumped up and is just so fun to watch.
Awesome crowd. Also, I do want to shout out Randall and Edwards. Edwards is at 45% from three right now. Randall's at 46% from three right now. I would think that both of those numbers come down pretty significantly. I do want to talk about, though, like a real serious talking point. Ant's taking 11 threes a game. You see what he said to the
Fuck him.
reporter? Yeah, fuck
That's what
him.
I'm gonna say to you. Take more. I'm
You
with
think?
him
You
on
think
that.
take
Yeah.
more? All
He's
right.
shooting 40 fucking however many percent you said.
45%.
45%. Yeah, you take more threes then. That's what we are in the we're in the depth and shooting threes age of of basketball. Like that's what the Celtics do, and it's obviously working. Take more.
Yeah, fair
I think
enough.
that
I
just
mean,
broke
if
your
he's gonna
brain
make him,
because
if he's gonna make him, I can't say anything. It's just he's such a freak athlete. Like I want him to be focused on getting downhill all the time. But if he's gonna make him, I can't. There's no argument against it.
That's the thing, though. I think what like as I've watched basketball more and watched it evolve and watched it more analytically, I think previously I was thinking like the same. I was like, I want him to attack the rim and go at it because it's a higher percentage shot. But if he's making threes like that and he can save his body a little bit, because those attacking drives are Jaw is the one that this really matters for. And I feel like I've seen him elevate his game in this way where he's not attacking the rim as bad, or he's at least focusing on landing better and not trying to go for these crazy dunks as much. And he's kind of settling, not settling in a bad term, but in a good term. Like saving your body is really important. So I like that aspect of it. And plus, threes equal more than two. Three equals more than two is what I'm trying to say. So I don't know.
Three is worth more than two.
I,
Yeah.
I think
That's fair.
I think it's a good start. Let's take a quick break and then we'll come back and finish off our list and talk about some teams that have dropped out for us.
All right, we are back for our YouTube people. I'm now in a t-shirt. If the gun show is distracting, I'm sorry, but if you can't take the heat, stay out of the kitchen. So, all right, Max, it is your don't roll up the sleeves. Oh God. Oh wow, nice bicep tat. Wow.
Thank you.
Bet some
That's New
people didn't know you
Hampshire.
had that. Now they do.
I'm full of surprises.
Learn something new about Max today. All right.
You knew that.
Yeah, I did. All right, give us your next league pass team.
Okay. It is the Denver Nuggets, and solely because I'm gonna say my fourth favorite player. Okay, just to finalize the rankings here, because I talk a lot and forget a lot about what I say. I mentioned all the players that I like are here, and then there's underneath. My favorite players to watch are KD, Jokic, Jason Tatum, and Anthony Edwards in no particular order. Those are my favorite players in the NBA. Jordan, you look very jacked right now. So
Thanks.
the reason I have the Nuggets on this list is because they are so bad that Nikola Jokic has to have the best game of his life every fucking game, and I am totally here for it. And I love watching how he has to solve these problems and figure everything out. I absolutely love it.
Yeah, that's fair. He has been just absolutely dominating. I think I don't have the stats up, but he's shooting a ridiculous percentage from three. I think he's been their best 3-point shooter, if I'm not
He's been
mistaken.
their
I'm
best
gonna
everything. He's their entire team. He has to play more than he's ever had to play. He has to score more than he's ever had to score, and he has to just be the most Jokic he can be. And that is the most fun to watch. It is.
So he's taking basically 20 shots a game this year. He's at 29 and a half points per game, and he's shooting 53% from three, which is far and away. Oh no, it's actually not their best 3-point percentage. Can you guess who has been their most efficient
How many
3-point
attempts?
shooter?
How many attempts is it?
Three.
Is it hold on. The blonde guy, Tyson,
Hunter
uh
Tyson.
Hunter Tyson.
It is not Hunter
Give me
Tyson.
another give me another option. Peyton Watson, Julian Strother, Dario Saric.
Oh, it is Aaron Gordon, which I would say does
He
not
only
bode
took
well
Oh, wait,
for
is
the
that per
future.
game? Is it three assists per three per game?
Yeah,
Oh, I thought total.
three total. Yeah, gotcha. No, Saric and Tyson I think are both at 0% from three, so that's not
So they
great.
can
But
match
I would say
Westbrook.
Aaron Gordon and Nikola Jokic being your two 3-point snipers probably not great for you.
No.
Strother has been shooting it well at 47% on three attempts a game. Um, But yeah, I mean, it's a good point. Joker is obviously incredibly fun to watch, and I do think that their starting five is fun to watch. Especially MPJ had a really good game the other night. It was fun to watch that because he had sucked for the first couple. When Murray and MPJ start playing better, they are obviously very fun to watch. I can't watch the bench. Like it is genuinely hard to watch that bench unit with Russ and with no Jokic on the court. It's just like I want to rip my eyeballs out.
I feel that I love watching how bad Russ plays. Like it because it's like every time it happens, I'm like, it can't get worse than this. He can't make a dumber play than this, and then he does. And I'm like, this is cool. This is cool. This
Did,
is a cool thing
did you
that's
like
happening.
his 22-point game? Was that fun for you, or were you rooting the whole time for him to like dribble off his foot and like throw it
I'm
over
not
back?
rooting against him. I don't really root against. There's not a lot of players that I root against. Russ is definitely not a player that I root against. I like watching the
You
dumb
root
plays,
against
but I
LeBron,
also I
Dick.
don't no no not no that's such a lie. I don't hate LeBron at all. I'm fascinated by LeBron. I'm not gonna sit here and say he's my favorite player or that he doesn't annoy the hell out of me at times, but I do I don't I root against the Lakers, that's for sure, but I don't root against LeBron because what he's doing at his age is like insane. It's just ridiculous. And he constantly fascinates me as well because he's adding this like new dimension of playing zero defense and picking his time to like chill out. So for
Yeah.
example, if you're watching him play a game, he just will not do anything on the defensive end for 10 minutes and then in the meantime is just going off offensively, which is really cool to see. Um I forget what we were talking about.
The Nuggets.
Oh, yeah, no, Russ, that 22-point game was fun because it's nice to see him have some good stuff. You don't want to see him go through all the bad.
Yeah. What have been your thoughts on Murray? Because he was for that playoff run in 2023, maybe the most fun guy to watch at that time, and now is just really had a tough stretch here.
I am not really a Murray guy. I never have been. He's not my type of player. I don't love the shot chucking. He was a big for me, he was a no yes guy. So he would take a lot of shots and I would say, no, no, no. Oh, and then it would go and I'd be like, yes. But
Yay.
I never loved him as a player. So to see this happen, I don't root for it, but if you saw him in Team Canada, he looked off, and it seems like it's just a continuation of that. I don't know
So
what's
do you
going on
think
with him.
this is here to stay? Like this is who he is now, or he's, that was just a good stretch for him in that playoff run? Like what is this?
Um, the playoff run, I think,
He
I
was
don't
out of his
know.
mind. I
He
think
was
he was
out of
out
his
of his
mind.
mind in the playoffs. But I
Yeah.
also don't think this is who he is. He's
I don't
shooting
think this is who he is.
37% and
The
he's playing
shoot
awful.
shooters shoot, and it doesn't matter the injuries and all that. Like you've seen Clay be able to continue to shoot well, even though he's taken a step back in speed wise and agility wise. And you can argue that with those injuries, Jamal has had to take a step back, or his athleticism has taken a step back, and that might be an issue. But I think shooters shoot no matter what, so I do think that's going to come back. So I don't think this is who he is, but I don't know if we'll ever see him get back to the peak of what he was before.
Yeah, I think that's where I'm at as
Because he
well.
was dunking on people and stuff and like attacking the rim as well. And he was
Crazy
just a good
layups, like
spacer. And I don't
yeah.
think we'll get that back to that extent because he's had a lot of injuries.
Yeah, fair enough. All
It-
right. I will go to my next team, which is the Oklahoma City Thunder. And last year they were far and away number one for me on this list. This year, obviously, we know their guys a lot better. They're one of the best teams in the league. They're kind of just a machine. They blow teams out a lot. So maybe you're not gonna watch a ton of OKC games like all the way through. But when these guys are on and the way that they play defense, like it is addicting. It really is. Obviously Lou Dort, Chet Holmgren's one of the best defenders in the league. Shea and J Dub have both been very good defenders. And then they bring in Case and Wallace and Alex Caruso off the bench to just destroy games and just absolutely put teams through hell. So the defense has obviously been fun. They haven't even shot it that well from three yet. So when they do that, maybe they'll be even more fun to watch. But Chet Holmgren's emergence this year has been one of the most exciting seasons from a single player. The way that he's been able to create off the dribble, being more aggressive, looking for his shot, and getting to the rim, using his mid range game. A guy that skilled at that size, he is incredibly fun to watch. So I got the Thunder.
Absolutely. We should have picked them sooner. We let them go too long. They're
I
so
think it's
fun
just
to
because they
watch.
blow teams out,
That's true. That is true.
similar
Like
to the Celtics. Like, yeah,
the Celtics I find hard, not hard to watch, but recent like those Charlotte games in that Atlanta game, I mean, by the third quarter, I was like, okay, this is awesome, but you're gonna go kind of in the background because I got other games I need to watch that
yes,
are
100%.
more important. So, I think like that's the same thing with OKC. They just blow everybody out. So it's not nothing to do again with the players and anything. But I love watching Kason and Chet and Shea. Those are really who I watch for. Those are the
Yeah, I
guys
also
that
think
really pop for me.
a league pass thing that I like is I want to watch stuff where I feel like I'm going to learn something new. Like with the
Hmm.
Celtics, I know our players. Drew Holiday's
Yeah.
not going to do anything that I'm going to be like,
They
oh,
just
that
run snap
was
over and over
a
again. They
new.
literally run the snap action constantly, and then it's just like that's what
Yeah,
it is.
no, I know. And like with OKC, Chet has so much growth left to do. J Dub has so much growth left to do. We probably know who Shea is. I don't know, but it has been an interesting wrinkle this year to see him take all these threes. Not that he's made them, but He is, trying to add that new wrinkle to his game, and then they just have fun guys to watch. Like I love Case and Wallace minutes. I love Isaiah Joe minutes. And even Lou Dort like has been shooting the ball well, and obviously a great defender. So many fun guys to watch, and just a team that flies around, young team, athletic, checks all the boxes.
AJ Mitchell minutes aren't bad either. There's a lot of
That
good
is
minutes.
crazy that he's playing. A second round rookie is playing on the best team in the West.
Like a lot. Like he's like a it doesn't I think for them it doesn't matter. Like after sixth man, I think they're all kind of the same because they do a lot of squad subs in and out, and he's just on that like second squad
Yeah,
and goes in.
Usman
So he plays a
Jang
lot.
too has
Oh, we
been
love him.
in
We're
the
a big
Hartenstein. Yeah,
we're big Usman Jang guys on this podcast. We've talked about him coming out of I believe Australia when it was 2 years ago. We talked about him in the draft. We were big Usman Jang guys because he's 6'10", but he's got the handle. He's just a very Thunder player, and he's one of those guys that when he does get traded from the Thunder, he's gonna absolutely pop.
also, one last thing on the Thunder. When you're watching a team and you're trying to decide who you want to watch on League Pass, it's fun if the team either absolutely hates each other or absolutely loves each other. With the Thunder, you get love. With the Rockets, I would say maybe it's not
You
absolute
gay.
hate, but it's a little bit of like, I should be in, I should have the ball, that should be my shot. Why is this guy playing over me? You know what I mean? And that stuff makes for interesting storylines. But with the Thunder, they all love each other. They're all like hyping each other up. They're screaming after every play. Like it's just fun.
Barking. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Draymond, don't tell Draymond though, he doesn't love it. Okay. My next play. So recently you and I have been like really getting into the X's and O's. We're trying to get better about our NBA analysis. We're trying to get better about learning about basketball instead of looking at basketball thematically. We want to look at it more analytically. We want to learn about plays. And a good team that I've sort of become really infatuated with because of their offensive guru head coach and the plays that they run is the Atlanta Hawks. Now, we projected them. We thought they're gonna have a breakout season this season. I think I was like the biggest one on that. They've not had that. They looked really good to start the season. Trae Young has been shooting the ball worse than he has in his entire career. But the Atlanta Hawks run these actions that are so interesting to me that are teaching me a lot about basketball. I have a friend named Chris. Shout out Chris. He's a basketball genius. And there are multiple times where, well, I've sent him a video of like a action that the Hawks ran that he explained to me that was super interesting. And then the other night against the Celtics, I was watching it with my grandfather and my dad, so I wasn't able to record the action that they ran. But there was another action that the Hawks ran that just blew my mind and I thought was super interesting. If you go on Twitter, you can see a lot of different actions. And what the Hawks run offensively is just so fun. And then I'm infatuated with Dyson Daniels and Jalen Johnson. I can't get it. And Ricochet. I fucking love those three guys. I cannot get enough of those guys. Those are my favorite types of players, like lengthy either wings or like smalls that are just good at defense and passing and shooting and making the right decision and playing hard. Those three guys, give me those guys and build from there. And I think you got something. And they're still trying to figure out like what's going on. They have their injuries right now, like DeAndre Hunter, who used to be I would say he was Jalen Johnson for me before Jalen Johnson existed for me, if that makes sense. Like I was a big Hunter guy, but for me, he just lacks creativity and he's very robotic, and I've kind of come off of him a lot. I thought he had to develop more, and he just hasn't really added the dimension to his game that I would want to see him add as he's gone throughout his time in the league. So now I've kind of moved off of him, but he's injured right now. Bogey's injured right now, and so they don't have as much scoring as they've had to as they have had in the past. Same with Kobe Buffkin's out. So it's a lot of Trae Young, but Jalen Johnson is getting a higher and higher usage rate. Same with Dyson, who actually plays now instead of like in New Orleans, he just wasn't playing. And I just really enjoy watching this team play because I think, it's one of those teams where you like the young guys more than the older guys, and it's just fun to watch.
This is a team that should move up these rankings as Trae Young figures out how to play basketball again because he just hasn't been able to make a shot. I love what you said about Dyson and Jalen Johnson. Those two guys are like the most fun guys to watch for this team right now because there's so much that we don't know about them that, oh, I saw this move from Dyson tonight. I didn't know he had that, like awesome like spin move into a floater, something like that. Jalen Johnson had like 29 the other night against who was it? The Pels.
The
Super
Pels,
fun to
yeah.
watch. like just energized, athletic, getting to the rim, dunking on dudes, playing defense, hitting shots. Like that guy, that's someone who might become a star. And those are the type of guys that are super fun to watch on a random night, when you got nothing going on. You want to find someone who you're like, oh my God, this guy, he could be something really, really special for this team in a few years.
Shameless plug, but if you want to see some Jalen Johnson content, I did post TikTok about him, and in that TikTok, I talked about one of the actions that they run that my friend Chris helped me learn about. It's very interesting, so check that out. But yeah, they just offensively they run stuff that helps you learn the game of basketball, which is really cool.
Dyson has also been really just fun to watch go from a guy like you said who was barely playing, but when he did play, everyone was like, "Oh, I like this guy. Like he's super long, good defender." And now he's like a real starter and contributor for this team. Obviously their primary defender, but also showing a couple of really nice flashes on offense. So definitely been fun to watch that. My last team, this is my fifth team. I you're not gonna like this. I think we've talked about it. The Memphis Grizzlies.
No, I
And
like this.
okay, good. I think this is like the perfect league pass team for all the reasons that we've talked about. Young, athletic. Obviously, Ja gives you that star power, but also brings along just one of the most electrifying play styles in the entire league. And then I have really loved watching these guys that I didn't know were this good. I didn't know Santi Aldama was this good. I didn't, and he's playing great for them. Zach Edey had a huge game the other night. Have loved watching him. Didn't know who Jay Huff was. One of my favorite bench players. Like I
Denver could have
can't.
used him. Denver could have
Denver
used him, and
definitely could have used him.
they let him go. They let him go.
I know. Jake LaRavia. Jake LaRavia actually gets like real hate on Twitter from Memphis Grizzlies fans. I think that guy works his ass off. I don't see any reason that you should be hating on
I saw him
LaRavia.
dunk last game, and I was shocked.
Yeah,
I was like,
he caught a lob from
yeah, I
Ja.
was like, what? He's a, I think he's Vanderbilt alum. I could be wrong about that, but he was in some Celtics rumors last year.
It's either Vandy or Wake, isn't it? It's one of
Oh, it
those
might be Wake. I'll look
black
that up.
teams.
Yes, it's Wake Forest.
Nice.
Yes. No, Jake LaRavia, he was weirdly in Celtics trade rumors last season with Tyus Jones
Yeah.
when they were getting rid of Smart.
They also have like incredible depth, like you've been saying. Not sure what's gonna happen here with Smart because he did not look good when he was on the court, and now he's hurt again. So not a great comeback story so far.
No, I don't like watching Marcus Smart play. I'm sorry. I know we're Celtics fans. I was really happy to see him leave. Or I was sad they
Wow.
left Boston. I was
Wow.
happy to get him off the basketball team because he drove me nuts.
Mm.
So I think he actually hurts their rankings for me when he gets back on the team. No, I love watching Memphis. Great
Okay.
announcers, great floor, great stadium, great fans, and Ja is again just so fun to watch.
Quick shout out to Jaren Jackson and Desmond Bain, who have both just had
Yeah,
very good starts to the season scoring the ball. Jaren Jackson especially has kind of surprised me as a scorer.
absolutely. This pick from me is you're gonna hate it. Can you guess it? I think you can.
I'm gonna hate it. I don't hate anybody. I'm a lover, not a
No, you're
hater.
gonna guess it. Guess
No,
what my
who?
pick is.
I have no idea.
You must know. What's your one guess if you have one?
Clippers?
No, it's the Wizards. I love watching the Wizards
Oh
play.
yeah, I should have known.
I love watching the Wizards. I hate watching their starting lineup. I love watching Bilal, Alex Sarr, Keyshawn George, and Bub Carrington play. It is my favorite thing. This Wizards team has, and Draymond mentioned it after last game, this Wizards team has guts, heart, and they actually give a shit. And all of those guys are really fun to watch. And honestly, Jordan Poole is playing a little differently than he has before, which I enjoy. I don't like watching Kuzma hasn't been playing, but I don't like watching Kuzma, Joe Val, Jordan Poole. I don't like any of those guys in terms of I like Joe Val and Kuzma is I'm iffy on, but in terms of just watching them on that team, I don't love them. I love the young guys. Those guys are awesome. Johnny Davis has been getting some run. He plays really hard, trying to like build himself back up after a pretty bad start to his career. And this it's early, but this Wizards team is exciting. They're fun to watch. They care. They're bad, and I love them.
Uh, Shout out Jared Butler. Where did this guy come from? He's
He
like,
was on Baylor, I think. He was on
okay, yeah,
Memphis or Minnesota, I believe.
he's weirdly been contributing for them. I like all the guys that you mentioned that you like. Bilal obviously is just having one of the best defensive seasons that you could have for as a Wizards fan hoping for a Bilal jump. He's been awesome. Bub Carrington, really smooth, fun, like pull up mid range shot maker. Alex Sarr has been fun. It just comes so like rarely where he has one of those flashy plays where you go, whoa, like that was
Yeah.
crazy. 7 foot guy can do that. It's just I don't know. I hate the starting lineup. They're Jordan Poole and Kuzma. Not my guys.
I don't like watching Kispert. I mean, I do like watching Kispert. I don't like watching him on this team. Kispert is way better to
You
watch
should
on
just
a
be on a
team that
good team.
matters. Yeah, if
Yeah.
he's on a he is a guy that I like way more if he's on a playoff team.
Yeah, he's not
Whereas
super exciting, but he could contribute and make big plays in games that matter.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I don't like watching him on this team because he's just a waste of talent.
Yeah, 100%.
Not by his own doing, just his talent is being wasted on this team that's not any good. This should be a developmental team that loses a lot of games and continues to build.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
if you add Cooper Flag to this and you have a starting lineup of Bub Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, Cooper Flag, Alex Sarr, that's 5, right? Bilal,
Jordan
Bub,
Poole.
no,
I don't know.
Bilal, Bub, Sarr, Cooper Flag, and Keyshawn George. That's such a fun lineup.
Fun lineup.
Fun lineup.
Definitely.
Johnny Davis as the sixth man. Can I get a
But
hell
then
yeah?
Poole and Kuzma are off the bench. I mean, that's just that lineup will not happen.
You're trading them. Goodbye.
Goodbye. All right.
Joe Val for a second. Goodbye. No, Joe Val for a first. Goodbye.
Joe Val back to the Pels. You clearly
That's seriously.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's do some teams that dropped out for us.
Absolutely. Number one for me. This one pains me, but Orlando is so bad without Paolo.
Yeah. Yeah, they were like excluded for me from this because they're not I don't even think of watching them without Paolo.
Yeah, I mean, I tried it, and they just aren't. They don't have it right now. Um,
No, Suggs has been good.
Suggs is really good. They're like putting the keys in Franz's hand. It's a lot of Tristan da Silva too. I like Anthony Black a lot. Like I enjoy watching him play. But for me, you're losing a guy with like a 30% usage rate, or probably even up, and it shows. They're not good right now, unfortunately,
Yeah,
and
and
it
Franz
sucks.
hasn't really been able to take the car keys and drive the car. He's kind of been swerving into like the
Yeah,
wrong lane, I think. And Suggs has kind of been the guy grabbing the wheel and steadying the car. So I mean, I don't know where I stand like long term with Franz right now because I used to be super high on him and like his upside and like could he be an all-star? Could he be a second guy on a championship team? That kind of stuff. Now it like Suggs has looked like the better offensive player. Obviously, we know Suggs is an unbelievable defender, but he's looked like without Paolo, their most reliable scorer, which is crazy.
number one, great car analogy. I didn't know if you're gonna be able to land the plane on that one. You did. Two, do you think
Thank
it's
you.
because he's German and they drive on the other side of the road? That could be an
That
issue.
could be. He's
Thank
confused.
you. Felt nice about that one. Three, I think you're starting to get your answer. He's not a number one scoring option on a good team. He's probably closer to a 2 or 3. But like you said, Suggs is the one taking over the scoring duties, which is
Yeah. I will
interesting.
say this team, like when they have Paolo, it's weird. When they have Paolo, they might be in my top 5 because
Yes, yeah.
all of the other guys play awesome defense. They love each other. They work super hard. Suggs is a psycho. Like Mo Wagner's a psycho. I love when teams have those guys. That's awesome. It's fun to watch. But if you just can't score the ball, like I'm sorry, you're not going on my TV.
Absolutely. What's your next one? What's your dropout?
All right, a dropout for me. It's actually been the Spurs. I haven't been super
They're on my
interested
list.
in watching the Spurs. I thought the Chris Paul Wemby thing would unlock a little bit more, and maybe it will throughout the season. But so far, they've definitely had issues getting Wemby in the right spots and in spots where he can, take over games. Obviously, Wemby just hasn't played super well either. But yeah, I mean, this roster around Wemby is just really brutal. No Vassell right now. Maybe when Vassell comes back, it'll be a little bit more watchable. But I watched the Spurs for Wemby, and there was a game where Wemby took 5 shots, and I was like, "What? Why am I watching this game?" So they dropped out for me, and I hope they can come back because I love. I mean, Wemby is the next goat. That's what people say.
I'm with you here. This has been a tough watch. Seriously, I thought I was really high on them coming into the season, and for me, they are not fun. Wemby's out of sync and out of rhythm. This team isn't built right, and I actually think it might be time for Pop to go. Like seriously, I think.
Oh, he had like a health scare. We'll see what
Oh,
happens
bad
there.
timing then. My bad.
You
Not
didn't
good
see that?
timing.
Yeah. He had like a
Uh,
health issue and he's going to be
is he
out. So
okay?
they're going to have a I didn't see the details. I just saw he's out for a undetermined period of time and they're going to have an interim head coach. So maybe, I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Well, I
Maybe he
feel
will
bad
step
now
away.
because I didn't know that. My fault. Should have done my diligence. I hope prayers up for Pop. Hope he feels better.
Fucking asshole.
Um,
You said what you said. The people know where you stand.
uh, yeah. I mean, I just think Pop. I don't know. I just wanted a new coach in there because it feels like the way that they're playing with Wemby just isn't that fun to watch yet. And I mean, I understand the being super careful part and having him on a minutes restriction. I get that. And that's not fun to watch because every time it feels like he starts getting going, they just take him out. And I don't like watching him play like 4 minutes in a quarter. Um, but this team is just not developing the way I want them to. So
No,
I
yeah.
agree. They're not fun to
There
watch.
are a few things. Like Wemby has the ball like way too far away from the basket too often. He's like trying to create shots from the logo and operating as the ball handler in the pick and roll. That's one thing. And that's something that I think you can put on both Wemby and the coaching staff. Like, hey, we need to commit to getting this guy the basketball closer to the rim. But also, the roster is so bad that like you don't really want anyone else to have the ball. So like maybe that's some of it where Wemby's like, all right, I'm just gonna take this possession and I'm just gonna be the ball handler. I'm gonna do everything. And also it is like kind of difficult to get a guy a bunch of touches around the rim when he's kind of getting pushed around by these stronger like wings that teams are guarding him with like wings like Dylan Brooks, Alex Caruso, and they're just kind of pushing him around. So yeah, I mean it has not been great.
And uh I think they're letting him kind of figure out what his shot chart should look like. I think he's got a really long leash and I think they're letting him just be like you can shoot whatever
Yeah,
shots you think are okay and figure out from there what shots you don't think you can hit. And I think they should start tightening up the leash and being like, okay, we've tried the logo thing, not happening right now. You should
right.
get closer to the rim. Not an enjoyable team to watch. Pelicans for me, everybody's injured. They have no DeJounte, no McCollum, no. I think they lost four out of their starting five, so it's like Trey Murphy, Herb, McCollum, Zion, and DeJounte are all injured, and then it's Brandon Ingram's just doing Brandon Ingram stuff, which I do enjoy watching Brandon Ingram play sometimes, but this team's just beat up and bad right
Yeah.
now, and I don't enjoy watching them.
Even when
And
Zion's healthy, he's not like he misses every other game still.
absolutely, and they also do not have fans really. Like that arena is hardly filled. It's
That is,
dead,
yeah,
and
a great
get
point.
yeah, it's just not an enjoyable
They do have
experience.
good announcers though.
They
But yeah,
do that yeah, gravelly
the
voice guy is
fans
awesome.
the fans do not show up for them. My last one is just the Nuggets. I talked about it enough. I mean,
Um,
I'm not super interested in watching that team with the bench right now.
Mine, I have two more. It's the Pacers who went from playing with the highest pace in the NBA and playing with Tyrese Halliburton, someone that we love, to playing very slow, out of rhythm. Tyrese Halliburton is not playing basketball well. This team is not fun to watch. I I don't know what's going on with them. They need to figure it out. It's all on Tyrese, honestly. He is fucking this thing up bad. I don't know what's
Everyone
happening with
else has
him.
played great.
Yeah, I seriously don't know what's going on with him. Like it's really bad. He needs to figure his shit out, honestly. He's taken such a step back from that first half of last season where he was in MVP discussions. And now it's past the point of the injury. It just feels like he's not sure about um pushing towards the rim because of his leg. I don't know what's going on with him. He looks out of sorts. And then Miami. Miami is one of the most unwatchable. I think for me, the teams that I have the hardest time watching are Miami and Utah. And Utah is bad just because it's hard to watch just because again, they have the starting lineup of old guys that I don't really want to watch. Like I want to watch Larry Markin on a good team. Colin Sexton is being wasted. I want him on a good team. Like if you put Colin Sexton on the Heat, then I'd watch. If you put Larry Markin on any other team, then I'd watch. But same with John Collins and all that. But it's just like I want to watch Keontae George. I want to watch Cody Williams. I want to watch Kessler, and I want to watch like their other young guys figure it out, and they just don't. They don't.
Collier, yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's not fun to watch. I don't like that. But Miami's awful to watch. I can't stand watching Miami. I don't enjoy it at all. They're
I
so
can't
bad.
believe how uninvolved Jimmy and Bam are in the
It's
offense. I
ridiculous.
absolutely can't believe it.
I don't get it at all. They are shockingly bad this year. And then I don't like watching Tyler Hero play basketball, and he's like their whole thing, their whole offense.
Yeah. They run the offense through Hero and Rozier, who
Rozier.
by far lead the team in shots, which I just don't think is the way for that team to win basketball games. But yeah, Jimmy Butler has looked like disengaged. Bam just hasn't really found his rhythm yet, so definitely a hard watch. I do want to talk about Halliburton a little bit. He is the fourth leading scorer on the Pacers. He's being outscored, obviously, by Siakam, who's been fantastic. Miles Turner has had some big games. He's outscoring him. And Ben Mathurin doesn't even
Yeah.
start and is outscoring Tyrese Halliburton on four fewer shots. Hallie has had an unbelievable fall off. His shot's not falling right now, but he also hasn't really been able to create a whole lot for himself. I think he had like a 24-point game the other night, which was fine. But overall, just a tough start to the season. If he can figure it out and get at least close, get back to at least where he was, somewhere in that realm last year, like they will be fun to watch because they are a fun team. But yeah, he's just kind of destroyed that whole thing over there.
It is worth watching for the Ben Math versus Andrew Nemhard position battle for like that sixth man guard position, guard off
Yeah,
the bench,
the bench scorer,
or starting guard depending on the matchup, because those guys have to like Ben Math is winning that matchup right now, and
dominating.
Nemhard played awesome in the playoffs, but Ben Math was hurt, so it's like, well, what are we gonna? Ben Math should be starting. He is fucking awesome. We really like Ben Math on this podcast, and we knew that coming out of Arizona. The guy was a baller, and yeah, I like watching his development. Miami, side note of Miami, another team where just no real fans. Um,
Hmm.
no, the stadium's empty. The stadium's boring. I don't like the way their court looks, and I don't like their announcers either. So
Miami's on the short list for worst fans in the
yeah,
NBA. I think they
um,
have like legitimate. They've had legitimate stars there for a long time, and they can't get fans to the game on
yeah.
time. Like
I
people come like halfway through the second quarter.
all so worst fans in the area, I think you mean to say. Like the worst fans living in Miami, because the fans themselves, I know a ton of Miami fans, none of them live in Miami.
Fair,
And
fair.
those fans are good. Like shout out Rotimi and
I mean, like
Mikey,
worst
my
home
cousin. Like,
crowd. Like
yeah,
Miami
home
during the
crowd.
regular season is terrible.
It's awful. It's so bad. And I think it's because it's just way nicer outside. People don't want to be inside
That's
watching
fair.
sports.
Yeah.
I don't know. But it's just not
Or
a
because their
basketball
team's just
area.
terrible to watch right now. I don't know.
But yeah, I mean it's just, but even in the playoffs, they don't fill up the stadium.
I think they do in the playoffs. No,
Not really.
that'd be
Have you,
surprising.
or honestly, have you seen it when it comes back from the third quarter starts and it's just
Yeah,
empty every time? And then
yeah.
the only thing I do like is that when it shows the crowd, it's always Cougars, which is cool to watch, or it's like old men with very young attractive women. So
And like
that's fun.
extremely like spray tanned, like they're
Yeah.
almost
Yeah.
the wrong, like they're an inhumane color of
Yeah, it's
tan.
awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
I like watching that. That's like the best part of watching a Miami game. I was so excited to go. Whoa, I almost just fell out of my desk. I was so excited to see Charlotte in person, and they were fucking playing the Heat, and that honestly almost ruined the experience because it was kind of boring to watch
Buzz
the Heat.
City though, good crowd.
Good crowd, great stadium. I'll give them that. I heard
Yeah.
Indiana has an amazing stadium, and I've heard the Clipper Stadium's amazing. I've heard I want to go to Minnesota Stadium too.
Aren't you doing like a world tour thing, like a bucket list that you have to go to every NBA stadium? How's that going?
Well, I thought we were doing that, but I guess not. Yeah, we have an opportunity to go to Orlando Stadium coming up here soon. I don't know if you're going to actually take it. Depends on our friendship, but I think the
The
Wizard. I'll be going to the
podcast hangs in the
Wizards.
balance.
Yeah, I think I'll be going to the Wizards eventually because I'm moving down into the area to North Carolina. So I'm trying.
How
I'm
long do
trying
you
to hit
think it'll
Atlanta.
take you? Like, are you really going for all 30?
I mean, it's a lifetime goal. It's definitely not going to happen
So do you think when you're
this
like
year.
70, it'll be over? Like you'll do it? Or do you think it'll be like 30?
I don't know. It's probably. I don't know. It depends on when money happens for us. If we make money, then it's
Fair.
yeah, I don't know. So it depends. If we make this into something where we have to travel to NBA stadiums for our jobs, like then that's gonna happen sooner. You
Yeah.
also are like unwilling to go to a game if like a star is not playing, which I am the complete opposite.
Well, I don't want to fly. No, that's not true. I don't want to fly to Orlando for a week just to watch a Paolo-less Magic
But
team.
so that's not what the option is. You're flying to Orlando for a week, and during that week, we might go to an Orlando game.
I mean, maybe,
We're
yeah.
not flying there for the
You gotta
purpose of
sell me
going
a
to the
little bit.
Magic.
You gotta sell me a little bit more on like
I
what are
told
we
you
gonna
it's a
do?
free
What are we
week
gonna
at a
do in
timeshare.
Orlando for a week?
It's
Like what?
Orlando,
Like,
Florida. We can
Orlando's
figure
not that
something out.
cool.
We can figure something out. It's a lot cooler than New Hampshire. We live in New
Don't
Hampshire.
talk about New Hampshire like that, dude.
Bro, I have New Hampshire tatted on me, man. I love New Hampshire more than the next guy. It would be nice to get out of our houses for whatever. We don't need to have this conversation on the pod.
No, I mean, let's fucking have it. I don't care. I want to
I
see.
mean,
I want people to see how mean you are to me.
oh, get out of here. All right, this is the part of this podcast that where we know it's time to go. Thank you all for listening. Again, check the link in the description to check out our TikToks and our YouTube. Yeah, check us out on YouTube. We can see how handsome we are. And yeah, thank you all for listening. We will be back next week with more NBA analysis. We got TikToks going up multiple times a day between the two of us. So check those out. Yeah, thank you all for listening. We'll be back later and peace.